Yes, sir. It's Magic 95.9, home of the best variety of R&B, and the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. It's your man, Ryan the Lion. Of course, we are inside.
I don't want to be here, son. I'm out of here, son. I'm out of here. Before we even start, I'm crashing out. I don't want to be here.
Crash Out King is in the building.
No peace. Wherever I quit, I want my job back. I quit again, and I want my job back again. Anybody got a Tito's and tonic anywhere? I need something to get my motivation. Can I get some motivation here? All right, how are you this morning? Good to hear from you.
Can you tell who's in the building? Hey, big shout out to you, man. We got you in town this weekend, man. Baltimore Comedy Factory.
Yes.
How many shows we got, D?
We got 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. 5 shows.
Okay, so whole weekend. Family, make sure you get your tickets early. All right, BaltimoreComedy.com. And, last time we spoke, you were here. It was like CIAA weekend. The whole tournament thing was going on, the black tournament.
You know what? I don't trust you. The only reason I'm saying it, I'm telling you, anytime they be nice, how your family doing? Your mama doing good? All right, so what's the problem with you and Corey? Y'all still beefing? Let's talk about when you got drunk with Teddy Swift and you was in that roast battle. How you let them white boys just get to it, man?
Well, we gonna get there.
Set it up.
I'm not setting nothing up, man. I'm not setting nothing up, man. We just talking. No, we just talking.
Okay.
We just talking. And, so this year you're back, though. It's March. The big tournament. You got any, you a basketball fan?
I don't want to talk about that, man.
Let's get to it then. Let's get to it then.
All right. I had a situation. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So recently, you've been making a lot of headlines, right? You were a guest judge at a roast battle.
Right.
And it's been making a lot of headlines. Right.
Shout out to Corey Holcomb for making that possible. Go ahead.
So, I haven't heard your side of the story.
My side of the story is, first off, there is no way for me to move forward and talk about this if I will not admit the fact that I had 1 or 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But guess what? When you have 1 or 2, guess what they say? That is truth serum. So things that you really feel that you would normally have reservations about, you don't have reservations about. That day, that particular day, if anybody been following me for the last year and a half, they know that I became a big fan of Teddy Swims, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not making no excuses, and I'll be accountable for part of this. I had made a connection with Teddy Swims. We was DMing each other. He did my podcast. He called in or whatever, and we was excited to finally, be face to face with each other. He was doing a show at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and one of my waitress friends, she was like, "Yo, Teddy's gonna be here." And this is how fanboy I was like, "Don't tell him I'm gonna just show up, right?"
Right.
He's like just he makes me feel that way. So I pulled up on him on another podcast he was on. And then we would celebrate. What I did learn is, as a black man, it's going to be hard to go toe for toe, shot for shot with a white dude from the South. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's no way. I don't know what type of liver he got or whatever. It has no filter or whatever. So I'm trying to hang in there with him. I'm excited to be there with him. And I don't care. I'm off work. I'm not doing anything. I'm saying I'm an adult. Sometimes you like to indulge in spirits, right? Then he was like, "Yo, I'm going to go up to the roast. You want to come with me?" I was like, "Man, I'm not." Okay, of course I want to go with you, Teddy. What am I going to go home right now? Oh, my God. Something's got a hold of me lately, and I don't know myself anymore. I lost control when I had drinks with you. Yeah, problematic. Problem is when I'm drinking with you, I'm an addict. So we went up there. First off, I don't like roast battles. Right. Anybody in the business know I get invited to them all the time. And the reason why I don't like them, is because it's a way for people to say the nastiest, meanest things to you and hide behind, "Oh, it was just a joke. It was a roast." Right. It was something personal. So I remove myself from that. I go up there, and of course, if I go in a room, they go, "Oh, we got Donnell Rawlings in the house," or whatever. But I was a little, sauced up. Sat down, having a good time, and then this is the roast battle. If you don't know, this is like it's a very, very popular show, or it was. I think it's had its run, and I'm not knocking it, whatever.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while.
It's been a while. It's been around for a while. I don't like the way the white boys do it, because they get a phone and they be like, "So, Michael, I heard you were so and so. Now your turn. All right, how's your mom doing, Mike?" Yeah, I grew up in. Oh, baby mother, see what she's talking about. Hello. Be nice. I'm on air right now. Be nice. And tell the world how much you appreciate me as being an awesome dad. Who's an awesome dad?
Dad, you're a great dad.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Before you get off, can I have some money?
Oh
Oh
my God!
my goodness.
But,
Oh my goodness.
God,
That was a
damn.
typical. No.
But she knows she's gonna get it.
Yeah, of course.
Where was I?
We're talking about the white boys to pick up the phone and
They pick it up.
Yeah,
I grew up in the DC DMV area, right?
Right.
They got roasted. We call it Joning.
Yeah.
And Joning wasn't scripted. It wasn't rehearsed. You looked somebody up and down. You just went in. That's where I come from. I don't come from this scripted thing. And like, if I get into it with you, I'm not gonna give you a chance to talk. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep going. So I'm on the roast. I'm on the panel of judges, and there was a couple of guys that weren't good.
Right.
You know, and I've been around some awful situations, and I don't really go to criticize, right? But in this case, I just could not help it. I had to say something. I had to say, stop! I told Jeff.
They were that bad?
Yeah, they was that bad. But I also know that sometimes people might have potential.
Right.
And I told Jeff, I said, stop. And I was doing it in a funny way. I
Right.
said, Jeff, we can't believe in everybody's dream. I said, do you really think that they're going to make it? They're not going to make it. And the point I made was, all right, that's a high-profile show. It's an opportunity. And what I saw with them is that they weren't prepared. They had no confidence. And I'm Simon Cowling it.
Right.
On American Idol,
Right.
everybody hated Simon Cowell.
Being a hard judge, right. Tough love.
But guess who? They didn't care about Paula. They didn't care about Randy. They wanted to hear what Simon Cowell said, because Simon Cowell was going to give you the true facts. And what I explained to them is that this was an opportunity. Y'all should have been prepared. Y'all don't have the confidence. You guys are going to war with each other, and y'all acting like y'all friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, in that moment, it just wasn't popping for them. And I'm very much a supporter of people growing, but I'm like this: you got to go back to the drawing board. But even with that said, some people don't want they don't want the truth. The lie is a better, more interesting thing than anything.
Right.
That's why the National Enquirer and Star sell more things than any newspaper circulation. But I told them, go back to the drawing board.
Right.
And they flipped that. And then the host, he got upset with me. Oh, come on, Donnell. I call him the Negro. When you hear the word Negro, you know what type of person I was. He was in the house. And he said, oh, come on, Donnell. You can't talk to us like that. Hey, guys, so what we're going to do now is anytime he says something, we want you to boo him. So now that's his show. Put me in a different awkward situation. And I could defend myself. I've been in a situation I got booed before. But not when you're telling somebody what to do. Because no matter how funny I am, they're going to boo it, right? And then it turned into an ugly situation. Here's another thing. And I will say I do get triggered.
Right.
I've been doing comedy
All do.
for over 30 years, right? And what I get, and I used to be like, oh, why do they say that? What I get, this is what I always get, is, oh, if it wasn't for Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he rode Dave Chappelle coattails, so-and-so. Well, what people don't know is Dave Chappelle rode my coattails too. Not in a bad way. Dave Chappelle put together a team of people that made him help him win a championship. Of course, he's the marquee guy. He's the star of the show. Michael Jordan, no matter how great Michael Jordan was, he's not great without Bill Cartwright. He's not great without Scottie Pippen. He's not great without Dennis Rodman. That's what we did. And people always like, what has he done? And I'm not a bragger. What has he done since Chappelle's show? I had a resume before Chappelle's show. Before I did Chappelle's show, I was one of the only black comics, and I don't care what circuit you put, Def Jam, BET, that was doing dramatic work. HBO's The Corner, HBO's The Wire, BMF, all of this stuff before Chappelle's show. It just so happened that I was a breakout performer in what people are saying is one of the greatest sketch comedy shows in the history of television.
Absolutely.
I can't repeat history that I made. I never felt like I wanted to outdo Dave. Even when Dave departed from the show, everybody was like, oh, you should do a sketch show. You and Charlie should do a sketch show. The worst thing I would have done was try to come behind that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And here's fun fact. Entertainment Weekly did an article some years ago, and they listed the top 100 television shows in the history of TV. Guess what 2 shows are on that list? Chappelle's Show and The Wire.
Absolutely.
So however you feel about me, what my legacy will stand for, or what I'll be is, I made history. I can't repeat history. I never was the intention on I'm going to outdo the Chappelle show. It just so happened that the things on that show still are relevant, still entertain pop culture to this day. I'm not mad at it. Oh, you was ashy Larry. I'm ashy in real life. Then I can make some money off of it. And for the naysayers, and I'll just say this, that don't know me as a stand-up comic, that think that, okay, Donnell is only a comedic actor. Donnell has a presence on social media. The only thing that I'm really strong about is what I do on that stage.
Right.
30 plus years, there is nobody that can say they saw me be whack. If you take, even when I used to take hits, that was when I was coming through the trenches here, when I was working in D.C., when I used to go to the Comedy Factory outlet, when I used to go to Lyric Lounge, when I used to go to these grimy-ass spots, when I used to do Monique's Comedy Club. I built a bond with Monique there, and we have a friendship for years. I remember one time in particular, it was a snowstorm, and Monique was so strong as an act here that during a snowstorm, she still would draw a crowd.
Right.
I remember one time she was like, Donnell, nobody wants to come here. I drove. It took me an hour and a half from D.C. I said, I got you. Came up there, and the only people on that show was me and Monique. I have the history of, as they want to say, coming through the mud. Oh, I've heard, and Corey tried to pop this shit a while ago. Oh, he's mid. I've come through the trenches. I've done it. But I had the foresight to know that, you know what, it's only a certain place I'm going to go with this audience. I gotta do some other things to bring another group of people there. But in anybody that been knowing me over 30 years, even when I come to the factory, what you know you're going to get is a funny dude that's not going to give you the same material all the time. I'm not going to cheat you for your money. And another thing is that after 30 plus years, and this is a tough thing to say, from the first time I went on stage to this point, to this weekend, every time I've been on stage, I've tried to be funnier than the last time I've been on stage. And the last time I've been on stage was probably the best I've been on stage.
Right.
So you're getting the quality act. They can ask me any question. People can say whatever they want. If I don't ever do another film role, if I'm never on TV, if I'm never doing it, I'm content with the fact that I've positioned myself where my name can draw audience.
Absolutely.
And I can create a lifestyle for myself. So that's that. I hope I answered everything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know what? A lot of people can say a lot of things, but connections or whatever, the business is that's how it works.
Why are you mad? Oh, you coming up with somebody, right? Me and you start the same time, and we rocking with each other, and we say this, man. You know what? If one of us get on, let's go. How you mad at that? How you mad about, But here's the thing. What people don't understand, even my situation with Dave Chappelle didn't put me on that show as a favor to me. He put me on that show, and of course that had a lot to do with Neil Brennan, because I was qualified. We didn't have a contract where we didn't audition to be on that show. We weren't like, okay, you're the cast member. You were only as good as the last sketch you was in.
Right.
So if you wanted to still participate or you wanted them to consider you for other stuff, guess what you had to do? You had to rip it. And that's what I did.
Right.
Keep ripping it to the point. When we did that show, I was a part of the show, and I also was the warm-up comic before the show started. And this is the reason why whenever I came on, it was always explosive where you heard people cheering and everything just on sight. Because before Dave even went on stage, before anybody went on stage, it was my job to take a cold audience, get them warmed up and riled up. When you saw the energy of that show that was going crazy, and no diss to Dave or anything, I'm being cautious of what I say because people can twist your stuff up. But I took it personal. It's like, when my man come out here, this room has to be crazy.
Right.
I was that guy that went on before everybody. And another reason why I did that, because I was like, if I rip this show before Dave comes on, before I even come on the sketch, the minute they see me, they're going to go crazy.
Right.
And that was a testament of that is when we just did the guest spot on SNL. We did some characters that we developed like 20-some years ago, but on site, people went nuts.
They got excited. Yeah,
They're excited. So that's that.
And speaking of excitement too, man. Coming up on about a year for the Netflix special.
Yeah, A New Day.
Listen, congrats on that again.
Thank you.
Speaking of growing your audience, after you did the special, did you see like a growth in your audience?
It's
or
hard
you
for me to
really-
tell, and it's like it's not a crapshoot, but you never know what a special is going to do for your career.
Mhm.
For me, the thing that I was most excited about is that people that have been knowing me for years that thought that I was deserving, and they used to ask, "Why you don't got one? They need to give a real one, whatever." I never got caught in that. I was doing well without it, but it was for me. It was some validation for my fans, whatever. I do see, I can kind of see some the movement in my ticket sales or whatever, but I don't think it was one of those things like certain specials hit, and I don't know what special hits now where the next day
You kind of see it,
it's
feel
like
it.
you're
Right,
blown
right.
because it's
Big
oversaturation
time. Yeah.
a special. So for me, it was something that said, okay, I did that. But I'm telling you, the best part of that special for me was the intro for me. You know what I'm saying? Having my son, it's a new day, me waking up, showing him love, and going to the stage. But I will say, my next one, I always learn and I get better for the next time. It made me feel like how I can control the audience. It's so people don't understand. It's so hard. You can practice a special all year, but it's something that's big about lights, camera, action. Can you? I'm sure I've had shows that was funnier that preparing for that, but in that moment, in that time, in that space, I thought I was the funniest I could be.
Right.
And
right.
the energy was there. However people receive it, it's there. And what I wanted to do was be able to have something that was a time capsule. I tried to not to do too much jokes that was about pop culture in a moment. And I believe A New Day, if you would have put it in and played it 10 years before it came out or 10 years after, it'll still be funny.
Right,
That's
right.
what the subject matter and what I chose to talk about.
Right. Well, see, that's a strategic, look because you don't date it. It's like if you're a rapper.
I didn't want. I'm gonna tell you who pushed me into that, Dave.
Right.
Because we did it. That was like the third attempt of it. The first time we did it, like during the pandemic, at the heels of the pandemic, and we was already had our back against the wall because Netflix shut down half of our audience because of the mandates and a protocol to have a show, and a lot of stuff I did on it. In fact, when I had taped it the first time, I was working here, and it was Earthquake had his special coming out. They announced that both of our specials was coming out, and Dave called me. It was literally 3 minutes before I was getting ready to go on stage at the factory, and I'm getting ready to go on, and he was like, "What's up, D?" He said, "Man, I hate to tell you this, but he said, I want to shoot your special again." For a comedian to hear that, you like, "Oh, wasn't it funny?"
Right.
And he said, "Donnell, I could put you in front of any audience and you'll rip the audience. It doesn't make it a great special." He said, "I've seen you do these jokes better," or whatever, right? And then you got to mind you, before that first time, I wasn't touring the country doing 45 minutes to an hour because there was no place to do that. The only place you could do was 10 or 15 minutes, so I was piecing the set together. He said, "You had too many jokes that's going to age." He said, "You had COVID jokes, and then when you look in the audience, you saw people with masks on and stuff. So that means the minute you put it in, it's going to make people think 2020, right?" And he was like, "Yo, I want to go again." And this was right before I was going to go on stage at CFO. I'm in the back pacing and everything. I went on stage, and I was like, and I was telling people I had the special coming out, and I told them that Dave said he wanted to do it again, right? So I FaceTimed him on stage like 10 minutes after he said it, and I was like, "Here he is, y'all. What is he going to say?" And the crowd was like, "He want to do it again." But I went back to the drawing board. And then another time, we did it maybe 6 months after that, he was doing some shows in Napa Valley, and he always records all his shows. So he just looked at Ricky Hughes, shout out to Ricky Hughes, one of the greatest producers to do it, and he said, it was just me, Ricky, and another person. And he said, "How many cameras do you have, Ricky?" She said, 5. And he looks at me and says, "Donnell, do you want to shoot your special?" I said, "When?" He said, "Tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready." And I was like, you know what? That gave me some satisfaction, made me feel good because I'm like, I would like to shoot this under the radar, not worrying about a guest list or anything like that. There was no pressure on pleasing my family or friends, and nobody knew that we were going for it. It was only 3 people that knew it. And I went in there and I killed this show. Then a month later, he said, I want to shoot it again. I'm like, man, what the hell are we doing, man? Just say 3 strikes, you out, right? I said, why? He said, I didn't like the production. Right? I was like, you the producer! Because he's a very stickler. He said, never cheat yourself on production.
Right.
And he was making points like it was people moving around because nobody knew it. Like when you do a special, you have an audience coordinator.
Right.
They're like, okay, guys, don't go to the bathroom, don't move. So it was a little chaotic. But then I was like, remember Richard Pryor live at Sunset Strip? I remember one of the biggest things he had, one of the biggest jokes was people going back. He said, look, white people, y'all lost y'all seats. That was in the moment. It was a very simple set. The production was very simple. The lighting wasn't too par of what he likes. But I was like, if we could handle it in post-production, let's do it. We scrapped that one. We did New Day. So it was like kind of stressful even getting to that point. And comedy is subjective on what you like. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, oh, I didn't like it. Some people say, I love it. You know, that's not my position to tell you what you're supposed to like. Only thing I can do is put out the best product I can, and then I can just continue to grow with it. But I will say this, the audiences here are so electric. Mm-hmm. Like, I really thought about shooting a special here.
Man, that would have been nice.
I'm going to tell you, that audience, what the Comedy Factory has done for, I'll keep it real, urban comedy. That's the most people. The only white people coming here is Gary Owens. Right? But the energy that's in that room, I'm telling you, every year I come, the energy that's in that room is such a great crowd. It's people that you feel like, all right, you know what? I'm going to make this a date. I'm going to make this an experience. And one thing about when people come to my show here is people that's been a part of my journey since I first started. I was on stage the other day, and I asked the audience, I said, how many people have been following me for the last 5 years? Clap, clap, clap. How many people have been following me for the last 10 years? Clap, clap, clap. 15, clap, clap, clap. Right. 20, clap, clap, clap. 25, clap, 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 clap. 30, clap. I said, oh yeah, because everybody else is dead. You know what I'm saying? But it's something about the history of me coming up here. Baltimore was the first, being from the D.C. area, Baltimore was the first show I ever did where I felt like I was going out of town.
Right. Road trip.
I'm going out of town. When you going to be back? At 11:30. I'm going to go down here, and I'll be right back. But it's something about the audiences that come here. It's so live, man. It's so energetic. And it just makes me feel like I'm at home.
Yeah, man. It's a big comedy town, and we absolutely love when you're in town, man.